Lights, camera, action. It is another opportunity to have you served your weekly TV delight, the Sunday News Special. I am Samuel Ayara.
And I am Ayara Noporio. Welcome to your Sunday Tonic.
And on Sunday News Special, we try to bring different angles to all of our news items. We try to set the conversations just as our cast is that of setting the agenda. Today won't be any different, but remember, if you have any need to step away from your TV set, you can take us with you if you followed and liked our page on Facebook at AKBC Radio and TV. We'll get straight on with the headlines. Governor Umoino woos investors. 6 collaborations at London Business Summit.
And Akwa Ibom State government unveils plans to reposition state-owned College of Education to boost productivity.
Reporters walk into the odd world of palm weevil larva, nutrient value and acceptance.
Plus, Nigerian Senate makes case for tax policy reviews.
Which of this makes sense to you? Trust it that you have more in the bulletin than just what you think you've heard. Don't go away. Okay, straight to the stories. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umoino has invited delegates to the London Political Summit Awards to consider the state as their preferred destination for investment and leisure. Speaking over the weekend at the just concluded summit, Pastor Eno highlighted the potentials that abound in the state and his Arise Agenda economic blueprint, expressing readiness to welcome investors. At the summit, which had former Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, as keynote speaker, Pastor Eno explained that programs encapsulated in his blueprint are in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. During the London event, the state government also reached an agreement with the London Borough of Southwark and Akwa Ibom indigents in the United Kingdom on educational and cultural exchanges. The agreements were reached at separate meetings held by the governor with the mayor of the borough of Southwark, Michael Situ, and some indigents of Akwa Ibom State residents in the United Kingdom. Governor Eno also proposed knowledge sharing between teachers and students in both climes. Knowledge sharing between teachers and students. Something tells me the governor is really committed to repositioning the educational sector in Akwa Ibom State.
Yes, it's very impressive that the governor took this tour because it's going to benefit the state very well.
And there are no alternatives to giving a good account of oneself or positions when an opportunity knocks. Governor Umoino, in wooing investors and tourists to Akwa Ibom State, is remember, Akwa Ibom State is Nigeria's best kept secret. So that idea, that initiative of the governor sits properly within the bounds of what every leader who trusts who trusts in his capabilities and what the ability of what he has, the reach of his the economic value he brings to the table. As much as he trusts that much, he couldn't bet just tell those people, come to Akwa Ibom. Remember when some time ago the Akwa Ibom State government rolled out that advert, come, live and invest in Akwa Ibom State. Governor Umoino did really well.
Yes, I want to really commend the governor on starting on a very good note. If we have investors coming to Akwa Ibom, it will be a very good thing because Akwa Ibom is going to become an industrial hub, and before you know it, it will be Akwa Ibom to the world.
And talking about Akwa Ibom to the world, it was the 8th London Political Summit. It held at the House of Parliament, Westminster Palace. And on that summit, on its 8th session, had former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, as keynote speaker. And what did he speak on? How people, politics, and power can sustain peace. Recall during his 8-year reign as governor of Nigeria's oil-rich state, Akwa Ibom State was adjudged one of Nigeria's most peaceful states. A feat he transited into the current administration.
And talking about the former governor, you know that there's this name he attracted, Mr. Industrialization.
And industrialization cannot take place in an atmosphere of chaos.
Okay, moving on now. The Akwa Ibom State government has unveiled plans to reposition the State College of Education Afaranset for improved academic performance. Governor Moino disclosed this Saturday at the Thanksgiving service of the provost of the institution, Professor Daniel Udo, held at Koibo Church, Afarafium, in Seribum local government area. Our government house reporter Utabi Marcon has the details.
Pastor was represented by the Deputy Governor, Senator Kune Yaranyi, hinted that the state government will work out modalities for serious infrastructural upgrade in the institution, promising to also address other challenges confronting the school. Stressing the importance of education, the governor urged students of the college to remain over-focused on their academics, as apart from aspiring to become great leaders, they also have the responsibility of raising men and women for the society.
The governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Mo Obasino, holds education sector very important. That is why it is in the Alliance agenda. Thank God for a man sent to the institution at a time like this. We heard from the homilies how the place was and how it is today. Our heart desire is that it will get better and better every day.
The governor will rejoice with Professor Daniel Udo on his professorial award, underscored the significance of Thanksgiving, maintaining that for Professor Daniel Udo to acknowledge God in Thanksgiving, he will attract more blessings to himself. He enjoined all and sundry to be diligent in their assigned duties and have a heart of gratitude towards God, as every benevolence flowed from him.
So on behalf of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, permit me to acknowledge the celebrant and his family, Professor Daniel Udo, to thank God for what God has done for you, if not for any other thing, for the air that you breathe.
Preaching on the theme, The Attitude of Praise, Chairman of Conference and General Superintendent of Koibo Church, Reverend Ekpedemefa, urged Christians to constantly reverence God if His benevolence to them must be sustained.
I believe we do understand that when you have a challenge, you need God's grace to see you through whatever you have to go through when you have some ambience. He first made an option to love me, and then He added tender mercies.
Narrating his odyssey from early childhood education to specialization and elevation to the position of a college provost, Professor Daniel Udo reiterated that his reasons for the Thanksgiving were too many, and thank God for his benevolence, guidance, and love towards him and his family. With gratitude, he acknowledged the contributions of his mentor and former Vice Chancellor, Professor Kana Renesian, towards his steady ascension as an academic, thanking him for his love.
I would have just gone into my bedroom with my wife and then we praise God. But the Bible says, in fact, if you read the New Living Translation, it will say, let the world know what He has done. So we stand out today to let the world know what He has done.
The Thanksgiving gathering had in attendance an expansive array of academic, social, and political constructs, as well as family members, traditional rulers, friends, captains of industry, and other high-profile dignitaries. High point was the presentation of gift items to the governor by Professor Udo and the church. Otobi Maokon, AKBC News.
If waking up is a reason to thank God, then getting through the rungs of academic attainment up to professorship while you work every day into life is such a good reason to thank God, let alone sitting atop the leadership of an institution like the State College of Education.
Honestly, it's a very good thing to see that people still have the heart of thanksgiving. Because to me, I believe that if you thank God for a small thing, He gives you more. Talk of, like you said, being in that ladder. I think he has all the reasons to thank God.
And I'm sure he must have been thanking God all the way up that ladder. And looking at the state government's plans to reposition that college, where when you look at the stories of the college, Akwa Ibom State College of Education, the story of evolution, how it has evolved and where it is today, you definitely will understand the government has done so well from when that institution was established under the military administration of the late Idong Asinkanga up to this present day. It probably has churned out great men and women in the society that you can't just wish away an institution that trains teacher in the light of the importance of what the role of a teacher in our society is. And having to reposition that institution means that government is really interested in what material, in what brains they send to our schools as teachers. And I trust that once this institution is properly positioned, I'm aware that at the moment it is a degree awarding institution. The College of Education of Fancy is a degree awarding institution. If it is further repositioned, given a lot of infrastructure that would strengthen its existence, trust me that Akwa Ibom will in the coming years look forward to boasting of having great A teachers in Nigeria. And you never can say how much acclaim that brings the state in the long run.
Yes, I like the fact that no matter what the state government has done in the institution, it is still being repositioned. And you can attest that if that college is at that level now, when it is repositioned, like you said, the teachers that will come out there will be the best in the country. And I trust my governor. He likes repositioning a lot. And I know that he's going to reposition everywhere, especially those things owned by the state.
Okay. While expecting that repositioning to get to all the nooks and crannies of the state, we also move to our next story.
You have it.
Palm weevil larvae are edible maggots or worms, commonly known in Akwa Ibom as nten. With maggots known to cause breakdown of body systems, finding out about its popularity, availability, and safety of edible maggots took a year and a half to a home economist in the following report.
A maggot is the larva stage of the common fly. They possess soft bodies, no legs, and look a bit like worms. They usually have a head that retracts into the body. The reason they easily burrow through rotting flesh or tissue debris of animal and plants which they feed on. Some maggots are considered harmful to health, while there exists a species in this part of the globe called nten that is edible and thought beneficial to man. Also, known as the palm tree weevil larva, it is a great source of protein that is popular anywhere the palm tree is found.
Have you eaten maggots before?
I have never eaten maggots. It is not. It is no food.
But have you eaten nten before?
Yeah. I don't know the name of nten in English.
I have not eaten a maggot.
Have you eaten nten before?
Yes. But nten is not a maggot.
So what's nten called in English?
I have forgotten the name.
I cannot eat a maggot. It's something in the toilet.
Have you eaten nten before?
Yes.
Nten is called in
Okay, I don't know how nten is called in English.
No. Yes, nten. They go, they come back.
As far as Ibibio is concerned, I don't think that we have eaten a macron. Me, as an individual, since I am an Ibibio man, I don't think we are eating it, and we will not be eating it.
Have you ever eaten nten before?
Yes, we have eaten nten. Nten, as in order somebody for good health, it makes somebody to have a good living. So we have been eating that one.
Okay, so what's nten called in English?
Well, I do not go far in education, don't know, but I know that Ibibio man nten.
I don't think anybody that now get this environment.
Are they nten?
Yes, nten. A maggot is not something to be eaten.
Have you eaten nten before?
I've not eaten.
My mother have not cooked it before. I only see when I was small.
So what's it called in English?
Yes, I was prepared. I will research it. Then I will have known.
Maggot. How would I do with maggot?
Do you know nten? Are you from Akwa Ibom?
No, from Delta State.
And it's the English name?
I don't know the English name.
Basi yakan tandong, ntarandong, ntara.
Beremetanten.
Ntara. Betang ke tairang do itu kuin. Iram meni kok. Beyong bi de munam ta min de munam ta. So yemme bon teroba. Bon teroyin.
Ora gunten gi kombagar.
Basi nyong. Ye ndiong ko, ye don kapan ndiong.
Aside Nigeria, it is also found and eaten by the inhabitants of the Amazon forest, Asian countries, Central Africa, Malaysia, Cameroon, Papua New Guinea, and more. Edible worms, as they are called, are a very nutritious delicacy that grows on rotting palm trees after all the palm wine is tapped. Research carried out on the early and late stages of development of edible maggots showed that the larva is a great preserve of protein, lipid, and carbohydrates, and also contains a considerable amount of minerals like potassium, magnesium, manganese, iron, phosphorus, calcium, according to a home economist, Dr. Alice Etuk.
Edible maggot contains protein, high-quality protein, first-class protein. The health benefits ranges from weight management, weight loss, and maintenance of good weight. Edible maggot lowers calories in someone. Consumption of edible maggot aids fertility because of the folic acid. Edible maggot reduces pains of arthritis. It lowers inflammation. It enhances immune functioning. Very good for brain function. And also aids in bone mineralization.
Other than nten, which is known in Akwa Ibom, it is called eruru nza or akwango by the Igbos, ikolo, Edon diet, olu or okin in South Nigeria, while the West call it ekuku, ikpa or awon. The edible maggots can be eaten raw, grilled or fried.
Or for flat or for water or for tendency. And all the machines are among the February water as in Kenya. If you go to Abuja now, you will see there's one woman that used to do it, and when we are in Abuja, we visit the woman and we take it for our delicious meal. But why we call it in our language, you call it uto. I don't know one good thing about that thing is that it's medicinal.
It's very scarce. It's not possible to see it in our area, even in the villages.
And eat them like snacks and make a good stock, first-class stock out of it. And I also remember as a child that when somebody dances very well, they will say, oh, so it is very, very interesting.
Since it belongs to maggot family, is there any side effect in consuming it?
In every advantage, there is always a disadvantage. When there is a merit, there is a demerit. When you are eating edible maggot, you have to prepare it properly. Wash it, clean it, and wash it with salted water. After preparing, cutting out the tail, the head, you have to wash it again, probably with salted water, warm salted water. There's some kind of microorganism that follows it. So if you don't prepare it neat properly and cook it very well, you may likely suffer from one infection or the other caused by the consumption of microorganism or virus. So consume edible maggot moderately, but little portion at a time.
If you are brave enough to find Nigerian edible worms for the first time, you might love them. After all, they are one of nature's precious gifts. Remember that my respondents say edible maggot is highly nutritious. So look for it and enjoy yourself. Eyagenopo, KBC News.
They say it's one of nature's edible many wonders. The last I knew, there are 8 wonders of the world. Perhaps this would be the 9th. I love the fact that someone could at least break the ice in telling us how this should really be prepared. Do you just sweep into eating anything grilled, raw, and all of that? Okay, so the lady there has told us you should wash it with salted water to get rid of things that could, some vectors that could bring you trouble. I hope that as much as we love edible maggot, the palm weevil larva, that we try to prepare it well. I've actually never had a taste of it before. I can't say if I would love to.
Interesting. When that report was going on, I saw how Ayara was carrying his face. So I was forced to ask him, have you eaten this senior maggot before? When the people said, when they said, Amitandong, or have you taken maggots, they will say, God forbid. And so what is a nten called? It is edible maggot, so it belongs to the maggot family. So I saw how Ayara was carrying his face. Believe me, I have tested this before, and I know it's very delicious, but I didn't know it is this nutritious.
Yeah, no, everything is delicious. It's only that recently we tend to think that all of it, everything we consume, once we like them, they are medicinal. It's not difficult to find medicinal value of virtually everything that exists in creation.
Yeah, that's not true now.
No, I'm very sure. Recently, we've seen a lot of those, even things we hitherto felt had no medicinal value. We're beginning to see them, and it reminds me of a certain man in my neighborhood who hogs medication that provide cure for all ailments. If you love a thing, you definitely would attribute a medicinal value to it.
That's not true. Nature has so blessed us. And don't you worry. I think I'll bring 10 for you to test. And after that, believe me, you will really like it.
I'm 38 years. I've never tested it. I don't know how long it would take to test
tomorrow. I'll make sure you test it.
Okay, I won't come for editorial meeting.
Okay, moving now to another story. The Nigerian Senate has stressed the need to review the tax waiver policy to ensure it aligns with the revenue mobilization drive of the government by making the waiver process more transparent and accountable. This was one of the 28-point communique adopted by the Senate at the end of a 2-day retreat facilitated by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, held at 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel in Ikore, Benin. The reports.
Has been moved and seconded. Those who are in support say aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it.
Arising
Ranging from the species, paper presentations, technical and interactive sessions, the senators, led by the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, observed that the outdated and ambiguous tax revenue collection system offer opportunities for new legislative engagements and review.
And things that must be documented and given to us. We are talking as if we are talking to you, as if you are the one going to implement. We are the ones to implement. We are to listen to you and get the suggestions and go back and implement. We are the ones who are going to call for public hearing. We are the ones who are going to set up the committee. And when we finish this retreat, we now go, these are all proposals for amendment. So if we keep asking questions, Colonel can no longer come and conduct election. He cannot.
In the communique presented, the Senate recommended that a bill on tax should be presented as executive bills and not as private member bills. To address exchange rate management issues, challenges of inflation, poverty, and job creation, the Senate said there is need to consider and improve the Emergency Economic Intervention Bill from the executive as a proposed legislation from the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. The communique also recommended the unbundling of Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to improve its efficiency and effectiveness in the preparation and conduct of elections. The retreat further recommended the introduction of diaspora voting, at least for presidential elections, to enable citizens to vote, especially those at essential service abroad, such as military, paramilitary, and other security personnel abroad, embassy staff, and other citizens. Some serving and former senators gave their perspectives on the retreat, especially the choice of Akwa Ibom State as the preferred destination.
There are a lot of things that we've learned, and by the time we go back to the Senate or National Assembly, there are a lot of things that we'll do in order to enhance the capacity of our legislative activities in the Senate.
If you are a legislature and you are designing a law with a particular interest for at the advantage of some few and disadvantage of others, and you are also bringing a law to the advantage of your tribesmen, to the advantage of other tribesmen, that cannot be a national law.
I believe that this retreat is good for us to judge on, and I also believe that we shouldn't be having retreat in Abuja or in Lagos. We should take it outside, like a place like this. You can see that all the senators are participating. Assuming that in a place like Abuja, you won't see anybody, or even in Lagos. So when you're having a retreat, take it to one of the remote states. I'm not saying that here is not developed, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So take it to a place that is not as busy as Lagos or Abuja, where people have other activities. So in all, I think we've done well, and if we continue like this, I think we'll be a better place.
Yes, sir. Today.
With distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, the eyes will always have it.
I tell you.
And when you look at such retreats and the fact that, for once, it feels good that in one lifetime we are beginning to see all of this convergence in Akwa Ibom State, a hitherto pedestrian state. You see, it gives us lots and lots of fulfillment that Akwa Ibom, in the same lifetime it was considered a pedestrian state, has become a destination of choice. And thanks to our leaders, beginning with Obong Atta, Senator Godswill Akpabio, Mr. Domi Manuel, and Governor Umono, they've really invested so much in Akwa Ibom State to see it evolve to this level.
Okay, like we said, I said earlier that Akwa Ibom is going places. Believe me, you better accept it, because the way it is going, it is not business as usual. With the convergence we are having in the states, it's like everything is coming to Akwa Ibom. It's making us feel so good, and we know that it will be better. And for the conference, tax waiver policy, I think it is. I think the Senate is right.
Yeah, it's right, because often than not, we get to see people who do not deserve tax waivers actually getting them, while the very poor masses who should be considered in such policies are actually the ones who are stifled and tax retrieved from such a demographic. I really hope the Senate gets it right. Let people who should pay tax pay them.
And for the consultants, I think it should be transparent. The people that are paying tax should be known, and it should be paid to the right direction, the right purse, to ensure transparency and accountability.
There's so much to do when it comes to that, but according to the Senate President of the 10th Senate, the Senator Godswill Akpabio, he said the converge is to improve the knowledge of senators to generate concrete and consistent legislation that will promote peace and sustainable development in line with the 8 points agenda of the Tinubu and Shettima administration. It looks to me like an administration that is really really committed to re-engineering Nigeria's socio-economic fortunes.
I think you are right on that.
Okay, that's not all on Sunday News Special. When we return after the break, sights and sounds from 2023 Cultural Day celebration of Torah of Ivory Schools, Nigeria.
And fuel subsidy removal. Ministry of Defense flags off enrollment of veterans for palliatives.
I trust you won't go away. Welcome back to the concluding segment of Sunday News Special.
And now we take the next story. The wife of the Senate State Governor, Pastor Patience Umoino, has pledged the current administration's continued support to people with disabilities. The governor's wife made the pledge at a one-day seminar on enhancing strength through inclusion, organized for people with disabilities in Akwa Ibom State, as yours truly reports.
Addressing people with disabilities, the governor's wife, Pastor Patience Eno, lauded their support for government over the years and promised them inclusion in the Umoino's administration. Represented by the wife of Commissioner for Health, Dr. Rosemary Augustine Umo, the First Lady advised them to see ability in their disabilities, trust God always, and be self-reliant.
Now for the word inclusion to arise. We cannot talk about inclusion without talking about exclusion. Social exclusion is described as a state in which individuals are unable to participate fully in economic, social, political, and cultural life, as well as the process of leading to and sustaining such a state.
The Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Nedi Akpan, said Governor Umoino is interested in welfare of persons with disabilities, as evident in Ubong Ikpe's appointment as personal assistant to the governor on disabilities. The commissioner, who was represented by the permanent secretary, Mrs. Margaret Edem, advised persons with disabilities to always unite, have a positive mindset, and support government to succeed.
So I'm here with a warm greeting from our Honorable Commissioner. She has asked me to congratulate you all. She has asked me to give you the assurance that the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare will continue to back these people up.
The resource person, Pastor Francis Akpan, delivered a lecture on the modalities and indicators of social change, while some stakeholders of the disability demographic bared their minds on the event.
Nigeria in 2019 adopted the rights by signing the Nigerian Disability Bill law. It was like a movement to change the way persons with disabilities were taken.
The aim of this capacity building workshop is to dynamically leverage on the platform that is collaborative between the government and the disability community.
If you are guilty, you will be dealt with. If some other person is guilty, such person will be dealt with.
This is one of the most organized organizations I have ever come in contact with.
This is our first time for joint association in partnership with one of the clusters advocacy for persons with disability to hold the program themselves.
Iyageno Paul, KBC News.
Well, inclusion for people living with disabilities has for far too long remained a leap policy for governments across Nigeria. Different states, local governments, and even the federal government have battled to find to connect the links at bringing these people to the active and socio-economic needs. We get to see oftentimes governments come up to tell them there is ability in disability, but there is so much we get to see government actually do to help them express this ability. So thanks to the Umono administration that has given strength to what was considered hitherto considered a lip service through the appointment of an aid on disability matters. You see, by doing that, Akwa Ibom has shown the rest of Nigeria that, yes, of the truth, these people can actually truly be brought into the active socioeconomic needs. It's difficult to have an outsider come in to regulate and position these people to be productive. It's difficult to have an outsider come in to mobilize them and let them feel they're included. But when they see and have one of theirs in the administration, it becomes a lot easier. You get to see that with this appointment and the commitment of the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, you can show trust that the governor's wife has very little to do at coordinating these people to ensure that we get to see how much the society can benefit from even their disabilities. Remember, in their disabilities, there is so much they can do. After all, we grew to know that disability is a thing of the mind, according to Helen Keller.
Yes, when they say there is ability in disability, for me, it's always like a comfort to let them know that at least they can still belong. Believe me, disability is not a very easy thing. I used to pity them so much because even when you have 2 hands, 2 legs, and you have 2 eyes, like that man was reading with hand, it's still difficult. And this is not left for the governor's wife alone. This is not left for government alone. I think it is high time that the public, the spiritual individuals, look the way of the disabled. It is high time to help them out. It is high time to contribute your quota to making their lives better. If we leave it to government alone, we can't achieve it.
Okay, moving forward, it has been a week of activities for Tower of Ivory Schools Nigeria as students of Tower of Ivory International Academy, Airport Road, Uyo, and Tower of Ivory Secondary School, a Abakaliki government area, were treated to a cultural day that showcased Nigeria's different cultural heritage. Iyageno Paul again reports on the cultural day event for the 2 campuses of the school.
It was a sight to behold as students of Tower of Ivory International Academy, Airport Road, and Tower of Ivory Secondary School, Edienabak, arrived the arena showcasing different cultural attires. It was a milieu of cultural displays, songs, and drama.
Abasibo Mamano Ekamba Itenyen, DIG Udom Udo Ekudom, retired NPM FMC OON, Mekamba Ma Lady Dorothy Ekudo, Ifyo Anyong Yodong Namtinko.
Describing the event as the way of enlightening the students on the different cultural heritage of Nigeria, the Chairman Board of Governors, retired DIG Udom Ekudom, emphasized the need to preserve Nigeria's rich culture, noting that the school was established to engender a paradigm shift in academic and non-academic endeavors. The chairman said that products are positioned to favorably compete with their peers.
We have seen 2 days ago we were in one of the branches of our high school in Oyo. There was someone that came to show what we did there. That is our high school for you. We are at this place. Thank my very especially for pushing our school or doing the school for your children.
The coordinator of schools, Lady Dorothy Ekudom, thanked the parents for their confidence in the school's educational offerings and promised not to compromise on standards.
We thank you, parents. We cannot thank you enough. Always encouraging us and supporting us.
Others, including Professor Wem Ituen and Obong Sande Mo, Mr. Netyukbong, and Mr. Udware Kwere spoke on the essence and importance of the commemoration.
On behalf of the entire School of Providers School, welcome you to Town of Avid International Activities 2023 Cultural Day celebration.
And talking about culture, culture is an important component of child development in our environment.
Namely, point of view, Yoruba culture, Hausa Fulani culture, Igbo culture, Ibibio, Anna, Andoni, Bekwara, Ijo, and others. People within a country often have shared history and tradition.
As in the midst of diversity of culture in Nigeria, can we tap into the positives for nation building?
Eyageno Paul, KBC News.
Well, at a time when the study of history in schools is practically staggered, there is need to really put our children through this vast and deeper knowledge of Nigeria. And in this regard, you see, time and again, Tower of Ivory School has really and always shown up as an institution that is committed to deepening these national values. And I hope that we get to find schools around us who would emulate Tower of Ivory schools in this regard. Many thanks to the retired DIG Udom Ekudom and his team. They're really doing a great job. School must not always begin and end with academics. Yes, while that school is doing well in academics, they're not also lagging behind in every other area of life the students should be exposed to.
Culture is very important, and you cannot let go of your culture because you are in another era.
The more reason I sing Ekbu.
Now our children cannot even say Amesiere. They cannot say Amedi. In fact, if you tell a child, Dimbombami, he will be looking at you as if you're speaking French.
And they can't chant the masquerade chant.
Forget that you're masquerade, Jerry. I think it is high time we maintain our culture, so that at least our cultural heritage will still be there for us. Posterity will never forgive us if we let go of that.
Not forgetting, you get the point?
I mean, I'm not a Ekbo, you know. I'm a Levite, and I sing to God. Ayara will always sing to Ekbo because he belongs to that.
No, because I have a culture.
You have a culture. My culture is to sing to God.
Interesting.
Well, while he's still singing the Ekbo, let's go to another story. The Ministry of Defense, through its steering committee on social safety net, Saturday flagged off enrollment of veterans for palliatives to mitigate the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, represented by the Director of Joint Service Forces, Jude Alozie, stated that the initiative was to cushion the effect of the removal of petrol subsidy, promising that plans have been made to sustain the gesture. The National Chairman, Nigerian Legion, acknowledged the gesture as an initiative that would ease the impact of the fuel subsidy removal and its attendant economic and social hardship on veterans, widows, orphans, and dependents of Nigerians' fallen heroes and caregivers.
And on the strengthening fight against drug abuse, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested a 40-year-old Spanish businessman, Sharif Egbo, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for drug trafficking. This is contained in a statement by the Director Media and Advocacy, Mr. Femi Babafemi, on Sunday in Abuja. Femi Babafemi said that the suspect was arrested while attempting to board an Air France flight to Paris, France, after they discovered he ingested illicit drugs during a body scan test. Babafemi added that the suspect was subsequently placed under observation at the agency's exhibit recovery room, where he excreted 93 pellets of heroin weighing 2.222 kilograms. In the same vein, NDLEA operatives at the Nigerian Aviation Handling Company, NACO, import shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, have made other seizures. Babafemi said that the operatives seized a consignment of 10 cartons containing 500,000 pills of tramadol 225 milligrams, branded as Tepantadol, on Monday. He said that the cargo, which was shipped from India through Qatar Airways with airway bill number MAWB 31901227236, was purported to be a transit cargo to Monrovia, Liberia. Okay, that's where we say our goodbyes.
Thank you so much for being with us on the program. We really hope that you enjoyed your time with us.
More than inform you, I trust you've been educated and entertained this evening, and that's been enough to remind you that next week Sunday we will be back with another edition of Sunday News Special. Thank you so very much for keeping us company, and remember that our next news bulletin comes up tomorrow by 7 o'clock in the morning. Goodbye.